Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There is a notifications bell down at the corner that will let you know as to when I'm going to go live. So first and foremost, happy Valentine's Day! Yay! So I'm hoping that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's Day. I obviously have been relaxing and chilling. I haven't been feeling well lately. So I got to throw a huge thank you out there to Kate, who brought all sorts of healthy food for me and the apartment downstairs today. Fruits, veggie, turmeric, just an amazing array of really healthy, immune boosting foods. And I am so grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for the box of chocolates for Valentine's Day. I do appreciate that a lot. I do love my chocolate and I do love my nuts. So a huge thank you for that. So I did a little project. Well, I guess like a project. I'm not great. Like it's still really hard for me to express myself in writing. So today I took the time. I know that Valentine's Day a lot of times is about expressing your love towards someone else. But what I wanted to do is kind of roll that back and talk about the love that was given to me by others and thank them for that. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Uh, so there's just four quick stories, and I'm going to read them as I wrote them today. I took time to write them. So these are remembrances. So I call them the Day of Love remembrances. So the first one is called The Shower. Um, the first is from a few years ago when I was displaced. It was dark and really freaking cold. I needed to have my voice heard because I didn't want to go out silently. So I made sure to pay attention to the date, have my campmates remind me, and I made it to the event at City Hall hosted by Councilmember Kashwama Sawant. The reason I felt it was vital was it was because, of course, highlighting housing, but her office was the only one to hear me out on some things that were important to me. I was conflicted, all the emotions that night. Almost immediately after arrival, I was approached by Shelby Gettins. I found I had so much to say to her about my situation. She went to hug me, and I was horrified immediately. Not because of her embrace, but because I was dirty, and I couldn't do anything about it, and I knew I smelled. I didn't want to see the disgust in her eyes, but I didn't. There was literally nothing but kindness. She introduced me then to Sonia Poneth. I became aware that these women would talk to me on equal footing. I didn't disgust or horrify them. They heard me. Towards the end of our conversation, they asked me what I needed. All I could think of, because housing was not an option, was a shower. A shower bathroom without a timer. Warm water, time to shave. To be able to scrub my hair and care for my battered skin and body. To feel human again. They agreed, and between the two of them, they came up with a room at a motel for the next night. To be honest, I've heard many people say in kindness um, that they would help, but I learned quickly that people have their own lives and they forget. So I waited with bated breath. I talked about my blessing over and over with my campmates, just excited. I had dreams of being warm, like really warm, for an entire night. The next day, Shelby met me at the room and got me checked in and gave me a little money and a hug and gave me the key. I turned the TV on, glad to just have the sound of the world around me, even if just for friendly sounding chatter. I turned the heat way up, took my winter stuff off, and sat on the bed with Rowan. I then cried. I cried over everything. I cried until there were no tears. I cried in gratitude. I cried for the push towards wanting to survive. I cried for the hope for just a little more strength. I dragged myself to the shower. I sat with my hands wrapped around my knees and let the water run over me. It was okay for that moment, and I knew it would be, but looked for any hope to cling to. Shelby and Sonia, if you didn't know how your kindness touched me, you do now. Thank you. And so that was the first one I shared. And of course, I shared it on Facebook because I was thanking particular people that are in my life for that. Um, the second one, Day of Love Remembrances, is called Heat. And I don't know if you can see, but I have like a little picture of my babies there. Um, Heat. When I took this photo, my life was falling apart again, but this time I had 3 children to care for. I had to kick my ex out for violence, quit college, for which I'd worked hard in my last college to get a scholarship, and add 2 more jobs to my schedule. The place we lived was a farmhouse over 100 years old. It came with all the issues old houses have: drafts, old breakers, etc. However, one thing I hadn't considered is that I didn't have electric. I had natural gas for heat, and it doesn't work the same way that non rural area heat does. It's in this tank and it runs out, and you have to have money on hand to refill it. It had run out the day before, and I had no idea why until I talked to the farm manager. I then called the fuel company when I was informed that they did not come out for anything less than half a tank. By the way, that's like a couple $100 at that point. Like that was also like early 2000s. At this point, it is dead of winter in Wisconsin. I bundled the kids up and I put them in the living room where I had a space heater. I knew I couldn't go to sleep knowing the danger of having it in a house this age. I looked at my babies with defeat. I failed them. I just couldn't be a successful mother. I took a picture to remember forever that in the midst of this developing tragedy, how absolutely innocent, loving, sweet they looked. The next morning, I ran to the gas station with the kids. I didn't have a phone. This was like before the era of like everybody having cell phones. So I ran to the gas station because they had a payphone there. Happy Valentine's Day had not. And so this is also the same gas station that I met Sheila Perigo, who also became family to me. So I tucked my pride and I called social services, to which I was dismissed and told I should have planned better and come back after that weekend. At that point, I lost it. I did start screaming. I went into the gas station and there was this older gentleman sitting at the table. He was there a lot, and I knew him to be very friendly and always sneaking the kids treats, but not really sneaking. Like he made sure it was okay. It wasn't like, him like literally sneaking them treats. It was a very friendly, very beautiful thing, kind thing. Um, but this day I couldn't talk. Anyone could obviously see the distress rolling off of me. He asked me what was wrong, and I dismissed his question due to pride, and I told him I was fine. I went to the register and asked to see the phone book. My only hope was to find a gas company. I said gas company, but I really mean fuel company. That would help. I explained quietly to the lady at the counter what I needed to find. After everything, it was just nothing. I called every place I could think of. There was just nothing, no help. I picked up my shattered self and I went home with my kids. I cooked us a meal, all the while internally panicking over how I would keep them warm that night. I hear a commotion outside and I see a fuel truck filling my tank. I ran out to stop them because I didn't have the money. Once I got to the worker and expressed my fear, he told me that the man at the gas station was putting it on his account and it was all taken care of. I went inside and I lit the pilot light and I started feeling the heat flow through our home. I loaded the kids up and I drove back to the gas station. I went in and I told him thank you. I was bawling and probably a little crazy looking. No. And he said, just pass it on. I couldn't think of anything to do for this man that had no idea that his act of kindness had given me just enough time to lift up me and my kids. That one act saved us in that moment. So I started baking him pies. He always said they were good and was thankful. I was humbled by his act and did the best to let him know the impact of his gift. I found out later that he had diabetes and couldn't eat any of the pies. He was just a beautiful human being, and he will always be in my heart, and I'm always humbled by his love and kindness for a struggling young mother. So that was the second day of love remembrance. Day of love remembrance number 3. This is called Sister. A long time ago, when I was a child about 8, I was entering the foster care system after suffering some pretty severe abuse at the hands of my father. I was angry, scared, and I can liken it to a storm inside of me that was really hard to control. I had experienced things in life that no human being should have to endure. So I had not only had behavior problems, but severe nightmares and flashbacks. I didn't believe I was out of danger. And I definitely didn't trust many adults. Luckily, after a rough start for a couple days at an emergency home where they apparently thought it was appropriate to beat children, the Box, which is the last name, had filed for their foster care license and had us come live with them. Sally had been our daycare provider for a while before we went into foster care. And she just reached out and pulled me right into her lap. She treated me like a child. She had this way of comfort about her that could calm my turbulent, shattered being. I can't imagine the disruption of the household to take in 2 abused children with all the traumatized issues that come with it. I will always remember with love and gratitude what their actions meant to me. Sally was my mom before all the other ones after. She had a daughter, Sherry Bach-Bolter, who was a cheerful, intelligent, and beautiful teen. She treated me as a human being. I never saw pity in her eyes, only sadness sometimes, as due to my circumstances, she learned about what kind of evil the world could hold. I would often wake with horrible nightmares or would go through periods of not sleeping, sleepwalking, etc. She became my immediate big sister. She would let me listen to music with her. She would tell me jokes and always tried to make me smile. And when the fear choked me so badly that I couldn't breathe, she let me sleep in her bed. She made a small child in an abnormal situation feel normal. No matter how hard it must have been for her to have her mother and father's time taken by these damaged little beings, I never felt it. Sister, I love you and thank you for a lifetime of knowing that forever and always there would always be someone out there that loved me. And thanks for the hearts, Daniela. Okay, so that was number 3. I'm sorry. I decided to read them because I thought, it's not as emotional, but it's still part of my life. And so I think regardless of reading it or speaking it, there's always going to be a little bit of emotion involved. I'm just so emotional. Day of Love Remembrance is number 4, the Thrashers. As a friend of their daughter, Brandy Thrasher, I met her parents, John and Dawn. I was a rebellious teen who had definite authority issues. Being 15, I was sure I could care for myself better than any adults had done so far. They reached out in my crazy situation and took me under their wing. They heard me and treated me as they would a normal teen. I felt comfortable and loved, and all of them became family. Brandy was my best friend, and I felt comfortable and safe to open up about some of the things in my life. The main one is that my biological mother, who had not seen since 6 or 7, wanted to come see me. I had money that my cousin, who was my foster parent at the time, saved for me out of their foster care money and would let me use it for her ticket. The crux of the situation was that she was a heroin user with a history that was sketchy at best, and I couldn't afford a motel room for her. I only had like $300, and the ticket just ate it. As John was an officer of the law and Dawn a dispatcher, it must have been quite the discussion. It was agreed that she would not bring drugs in the house and she could come visit me there. She did bring drugs in the house. It was humiliating. I don't even know if they knew that. But me and Brandy found out, and it was humiliating. It broke my heart. But they said the situation turned sour when she, of course, broke my heart. She left and I was devastated. The compassion that was shown by all of them towards me instead of blaming me or shaming me was amazing. So many times, Brandy and her parents celebrated with my successes, comforted me in my sorrows, and did the best they could to support and love me in what would turn out to be a very up and down life. I watched as all of them not only reached out to me, but the community and the compassion they showed everyone. It taught me about love and kindness. I will always love you guys, and I am eternally grateful for all the memories of being normal in my teens and later. Thank you. So, and this was like the end result of my writing. It just says I wanted to highlight a few. I would do more, but I am at the limit of my writing kindnesses that have been shown to me. The truth is, there have been thousands. The truth is that all the acts of love in my life have saved me. They've brought me to where I am now, and they have inspired me, and they have impacted me. I am a product of empathy and compassion and love. And it spurs me to try to do the same for others. I own my challenges and hardships as I own the love that made it survivable. I think Valentine's Day can be an important day to not only express love for others, but to remember the love that has been given. So today, I thank everyone who has taken a role in lifting me up and loving me where I am at. I am sending love, and I hope you have the best Valentine's Day. So that is my Valentine's Day message. That was my little project for Valentine's Day, is just picking a few memories or writing till I really couldn't write anymore, and being thankful for the love in my life that has been given to me. And I hear a lot is, well, you picked yourself up. I didn't. I may have picked it was with love and caring and compassion. Without that love, without that compassion, without that support, I wouldn't have found my way. And I am thankful, so thankful. Thanks, Daniela. Paula. Thank you for these wonderful experiences. Really, that's some of which I try to see the good in everyone. I try. Like that's all I can do, and others can do is just try. Try to be better. Try to, for myself, it's looking through this lens and trying to understand my perception and change my perception from, a different side of it. And I think that I could concentrate on, and sometimes I do, on the horrors that happen, or I can concentrate on the absolute blessings that I've been shown in love, kindness, and compassion, because not everybody gets that. That is something that is truly a blessing, to have just in the universe people that have reached out and pulled me close and showed me love when I needed it the very most. And that is why I am here today. Because without that, I wouldn't be here today. And I'm thankful for being here. And the first thing I did this morning after my morning routine, which is, coffee and all that jazz and taking Rowan out, is I made Rowan a heart-shaped burger and told her happy Valentine's Day and gave it to her. I didn't add anything. It was just plain. It was just straight burger. I just you know, cooked it to, a non-pathogen temperature. And yeah, so I had an amazing Valentine's Day. And I believe I have had if not a challenging, a very blessed life. And there's so many people that my thanks goes out to. And I thank all of you for supporting me and the positive messages and, the donations, the love, the hearts, the smiles, the joins on Instagram, all of it, all of it. Thank you so much. I just want to say happy Valentine's Day. So, are there any questions, any comments? Because if not, that's really all I have to say today. Um, I did put my hair up. That's a great thing, though, about having your dog be like your Valentine, is you don't have to get dressed up. She loves me no matter what I look like. I can look pretty rough. So, all right. I guess that's all. You guys have an amazing night. I hope you enjoyed your holiday, and I will talk to you all later. Sunday is harm reduction Sunday, so I'm going to see what goes on there and how that goes. Talk to y'all later. Bye.